open for the Most High to come down and destroy them for their blasphemy against Him, right? And against the spiritual, against His, and also against His people. You know, the apple of the Most High's eye, right? Which is Israel, right? And how they've treated us, not on as high as a level as Esau and some of these other nations, but nonetheless, right? And more so for Moab, again, is going to be because of their blasphemy against the Most High. The Most High is going to put a lot of them to death. A lot of them to death for their disbelief and their disrespect. Good. And the wicked for their iniquity, right? That means committing sin, transgression of the law. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, right? So, what is pride? Pride is believing that you can save yourself outside of these scriptures, right? Putting your hopes and beliefs and all your power and all your trust into money, right? As Moab does, right? They put a lot of their trust in money and how much money they can make, right? And that in turn is disrespectful towards the Most High, thinking that nothing outside of what you gain is going to save you, not believing that there's a true power of the universe, right? That makes all things move, right? Left, right, up, down, and center, right? And so, because of their iniquity and because of their blasphemous, how can I say? Their blasphemous leanings and tendencies against the Most High, a lot of Moabites are going to be put to death in these last days. It's going to be a beautiful thing too, and that's what's made Moab very arrogant, right? Is they put all their trust in money, right? And it's made them very, very proud, and they think money is the end-all, be-all to what is supposed to be fulfilling. And you'll notice it amongst Moab. You can see it amongst them, right? Because those that don't have money, you can look in their eyes, and you can look, and if the Most High is giving you the spirit of discernment, you can see the vacancy in their souls, right? You can see the vacancy in their eyes, like they're not fulfilled, right? Life is just not given enough, or has done enough for them, right? It's because they put too much trust into money, and that's caused them to be arrogant. Very, very arrogant, very prideful, right? To say that there is no God, or to say that there's no spiritual realm. Good. And so, reading on. And this is talking about Esau, right? So, in these last days, there's going to be a lot of destruction going on, as Esau had killed many of our babies during our time of slavery and captivity, which we're still in, but it's more of a soft captivity. But nonetheless, it still has a very significant and detrimental effect on our lives. But the way Esau has killed our babies, we're going to kill his baby in these last days, right? And so, reading. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, right? So, Esau found joy in killing the next generations of Israel, right? Using our children as gator bait, right? Throwing our children up in the air and spiking them, right? Having the children land on sharp metal stakes, right? We're going to dash their children to pieces in these last days. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished, right? So what you're going to see rape come back on a high level in these last days. Now, it being righteous indignation, I know it's going to happen, right? And so I'm very objective about it. However, myself, I won't be raping anybody, right? Not in these last days. I'm not going to be raping anybody. It's like it's written in the scriptures. Yeah, they talk about taking a woman or whatever like that, but it also says to do things decently and in order, right? To grab a woman up and force her to lay with you. That's not decent, right? That's not decent at all. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not going to be raping women in these last days. That's totally abhorrent. A very vile act. Right? How can you feel like a man? How would you feel like a man to have to force even a young girl, right, who's only been in her in her 5th or 6th year of her flower, right? Meaning having her period, and you grab her and you take her and you force her to have sex with you. Hell no, nah. Even though you wouldn't be breaking the law, it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting and abhorrent, right? Like it's written, let all things be done decently and in order. I'm not gonna be out here raping women, right? If I can't get it just off the strength of me being me, then it's not for me. Be raping no women. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, right? So the Medes is talking about Russia, right? So, and as you can see on a high level, China and Russia are just biding their time. They're watching and waiting and seeing what moves America is making day in and day out, week in and week out, right? Month after month, year on year. They're waiting to see how far America is willing to push it, right? And as soon as it becomes too much, you're going to see Russia and China, or the Medes and Moab, begin to mobilize and move in ways to begin to protect or to secure their own future, right? And it's going to be because of the spirit that the Most High pours out on these other nations, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it, right? So you're not going to be able to buy your way out of this destruction, right? You know, America is one of the few countries in the world, probably the only country where they don't fight for the people. They don't fight or die for their beliefs, right? These other countries around the world, they fight and die for their beliefs. That's something that you can't hold. That's something that you can't buy, right? That's already in their heart, right? And when people are fighting for something that they believe in their heart and their mind, they're going to take it to the furthest extent. But when you have people who fight for filthy lucre's sake, right? That's not sustainable over the long haul, right? Because you'll start to question and ask yourself, well, how much is my life worth, right? How much is dying for worth in these last days? And you'll find out that there is no price for that. And so that's going to cause many so-called Americans of the West to lose faith in their country in these last days when all hell breaks loose and the wars begin to touch down, and infighting and the civil wars begin to touch down across all countries, right? You're gonna have to find something that's bigger than money to fight for in order to survive, and nothing's bigger than the Most High. Bahashema Mashiach Yahushua. All glory, honor, and praise to the Most High. Good. So, be here. Good. So, let's jump down to let's go into more destruction. Good. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Right? So, people always talk about, oh, you know, you have this new philosophy. Well, it's not a new philosophy because there's nothing new under the sun. But you have this old philosophy being pushed again, and it's becoming very prevalent on Instagram, where people are talking about they don't believe in karma, right? And just because you don't see people being punished immediately for their sinful acts, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be punished in the long run, right? People look for immediate punishment for wrongdoing, but that's not how the Lord works. You know, he doesn't try, but he gets you at the least, at your least suspecting moment, right? To catch you totally off guard and surprised. That way it has a greater effect, right? So again, like it said, hold on. Good, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Yeah, so Esau, Esau's children and many of the children of these other nations are going to have to, are being ready for destruction, right? Because their fathers have gone off, right? And you have to be paid back for that, right? Yeah, so, you know, worldly speaking, there is a such thing as karma, right? There is a such thing as what goes around comes around, right? You don't just get to push all manner of wickedness and unrighteousness to holy heaven and think that you're not, and to think that the creator of the universe is not going to seek balance. And what is that balance? That you should also pay for everything that you've done in this earth. Specifically talking about Esau, but then that trickles down to these other nations as well too. You're all going to be paid back for everything that you've done. Anything contrary to the spirit of the Most High. That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities, right? So once Esau is brought down in these last days, there's not going to be another New York. There's not going to be another LA. You know, you're not going to see Europe as it was again, right? Europe has already gone through 2 world wars, right? This last world war is going to be the one to end everything and to change this current world system, right? And so once Esau goes down, because he's the one in charge of everything that goes on in the world, once Esau goes down, you're not going to see, he'll never rise again. You know, one of my co-workers, I wanted to say something to him, but I had to hold the spirit, obviously. But he was talking with some of the students, and he was talking about, yeah, you know, we people have been very violent, and, you know, we as a people have been very bad to the land, and, you know, we kill animals, and we do, and you know, while he's saying all this, I'm listening, and I'm like, we who? Don't nobody do more destruction and violence to the land or to the earth than white people. You know, white people are so-called Esau is so disingenuous, right? Extremely disingenuous, right? Knowing full and damn well that it's so-called white people that are killing animals, that are polluting the earth, that are polluting the water, right? That's why it says when Esau is brought down, the trees is doublefold. The trees is talking about literal nature, but it's also talking about the nations. But the trees and the animals are going to rejoice, right, when Esau is brought down, right? Finally, we can get some rest for all this hell that's been poured on our heads, right? And mainly, it's due to Israel. It's Israel's fault, right, for having gone off from the law, statutes,